This is precision engineering.
They form these massive groups, as you can see above my head.
We know humans love to show off their mansions and towering skyscrapers. When it comes to true architectural genius, though, birds are in a league of their own. From building nests that expand as their babies grow to floating creations that seem to break the rules of nature, these avian architects redefine what a home sweet home can be. On that note, here are 15 most amazing and largest nests in the animal world. Number 15. Beavers. Beaver lodges aren't just homes, they're absolute fortresses with secret entrances, cozy interiors, and eco-friendly landscaping. At first glance, a beaver lodge might look like a random jumble of sticks and mud, but beneath that rugged exterior lies a multi-room mansion built for survival. The outer walls, expertly crafted from tightly packed sticks and mud, offer top-tier insulation against bone-chilling winters and act as a defense against predators. On the inside, it's a perfectly organized hideaway with distinct chambers for sleeping, raising young, and even storing food for the colder months ahead. Here's where things really get wild. There are no traditional entrances. Beavers don't just walk into their homes, they enter through hidden underwater tunnels, keeping their lodges secure and their movements totally off the radar. On top of being little expert architects, they're landscape masterminds too. To safeguard their lodges, they construct massive dams that turn streams into deep, calm ponds. These ponds act like natural moats, making it practically impossible for predators to get to their homes. However, that's just the beginning. These beavers are transforming entire ecosystems. Their dams create thriving wetlands that provide shelter for fish, frogs, birds, and insects. Basically, a wildlife paradise. If you find that fascinating, your mind will be blown when you discover that beaver ponds are nature's environmental engineers. Not only do they filter water and trap incoming sediment, they also prevent flooding by slowing down the water flow. They're not just protecting their homes, they're improving ecosystems for everything around them, from the smallest insects to the largest animals. However, the work never ends. Beavers are constantly on the job, reinforcing their lodges, patching weak spots, adding fresh mud, and getting ready for the next season. Their non-stop dedication makes sure their homes stay warm, secure, and ready for whatever challenges nature throws at them. While beavers craft their elaborate multi-room homes, hummingbirds take a more refined approach, proving that sometimes less is more when it comes to nest building. Number 14. Hummingbird. Hummingbirds might be small, but don't let their size fool you. When it comes to nest building, they're natural builders of the bird world. Forget about grand, sprawling estates. Hummingbird nests are all about smart design, compact yet perfectly functional. Now, when it comes to choosing the ultimate nestling spot, hummingbirds can be very picky. While some, like the ruby-throated hummingbird, have adapted to the urban jungle, nesting on wires, plant hangers, or anything human-made, they still prefer the finer things in life. Their ideal home is a cozy spot in the leafy branches of deciduous trees near water. The foliage offers a leafy canopy for the parents and their chicks, while the nearby water keeps things cool. In dry areas, the water doubles as a buffet of nectar-rich plants, making these prime real estate locations essential. Forget large branches. Hummingbird nests are all about the delicate spots. These tiny dynamos tend to set up shop on thin branches about a foot from the trunk, often at a fork where they can hide out from predators. So after they've chosen their perfect spot, what comes next? The actual nest building. After the female bird has scoured the area for predators and secured the space, it's time to start weaving. She uses spider silk, plant fibers, downy feathers, and bits of moss and lichen. The spider silk is the real star of the show. It's stretchy and strong, making sure the nest is sturdy, but also able to expand as the chicks grow. On the outside, the nest is camouflaged like a ninja in the forest. The lichen and moss make it practically invisible to predators. Meanwhile, the inside is lined with soft, comfy feathers, providing the perfect little cradle for the eggs. Once those little chicks hatch, their nest expands as they grow, giving them room to spread their wings until they're ready to fly. Now, hummingbirds may rely on camouflage, but the weaver bird uses a different strategy to protect its young, a fortress of grass and leaves. Number 13. Weaver bird nest. The male weaver bird is a master builder and an even better matchmaker. When it comes to impressing the ladies, he pulls out all the stops with a nest-building strategy that's nothing short of brilliant and downright beautiful. During mating season, the male's mission is clear: build the ultimate nest that will make any potential mate stop in her tracks. With his bright yellow feathers gleaming, the male begins his construction. The first course of action is simple: tie a knot. Yes, the weaver literally ties a real knot using a blade of grass. This isn't just a casual act though, it's the foundation of something incredible. From here, the nest building gets more intense. He starts weaving strips of grass, twigs, leaves, and even roots into a circular frame, eventually creating a delicate, ball-shaped nest that hangs from a tree branch. The real magic lies in the tools this bird has at his disposal. His sharp, conical beak is the ultimate precision tool, slicing through materials like a hot knife through butter. The male isn't just using his beak though, he's got his feet in action too. He holds everything steady with his feet, working them like a pro while tying everything securely. The result? Not only is the nest visually stunning, but it's also incredibly practical, waterproof and tough enough to survive fierce storms. What's another interesting thing here is that this guy is fast. He can complete the entire structure in just 2 days. That's some serious dedication. The male weaver bird works tirelessly from August to February, pouring all his energy into crafting these elaborate nests. By March, he earns a well-deserved rest. In the end, the work is totally worth it when a mate finally lands in his beautifully crafted nest. After the weaver bird's speedy nest building, it's time to slow things down and check out the hammerkop, a true power couple in the nest building game. Number 12. Hammerkop. The hammerkop isn't just any bird, this bird is a construction powerhouse. With their striking hammer-shaped heads and brown feathers, hammerkops are legends in the nest-building world. Here's the best part: they don't do it alone. They're the ultimate team builders. In the heart of central Mali, hammerkops work like the most efficient couples DIY duo you've ever seen. You can almost hear them chattering back and forth, making sure their massive nests are up to par. Of course, these nests are not your typical bird nests. A hammerkop's nest is more like a fortress, a sprawling structure so robust that it could support the weight of a human. Yes, an actual human. Here's how they do it. The female hammerkop takes charge in the mornings, getting a head start on the day's work while the male swoops in to lend a hand. Together they create architectural wonders year-round, sometimes building up to 5 different nests in a single year. The only twist here is that they don't stick around in one nest forever.
Guests are probably going to see them just on top of the nest. The parents are going to still be pretty close.
Sometimes they'll move on, or they'll return later to give an old nest a little renovation. The design of the nest is also just as clever as the construction itself. The height of the nest depends on the tree it's built in, but that's not all. The entrance is strategically placed and perfectly positioned based on the shape and direction of the tree. These birds are meticulous, designing their homes to be functional, comfortable, and as strong as they are impressive. An interesting fact here is that, in African folklore, hammerkops are surrounded by a lot of mystery. They're often seen as omens, linked to lightning, leprosy, and even death. This eerie reputation adds an extra layer of mystique to their already incredible nest-building feats. Now, the hammerkop might build like a powerhouse duo, but the swallow shows that sometimes the best nests come from a solo architect. Number 11. Swallow. Swallows are wild engineers with a secret weapon: mud and saliva. These little birds aren't just building nests, they're engineering fortresses that cling to cliffs, bridges, and buildings. So what makes these nests so next level? It's all about the design. Swallows pick high, hard-to-reach places for their nests, perfect for keeping predators at bay. We're talking about ultimate security here. No predators are getting to these chicks without a serious challenge. That's just the start though. These nests are not only sturdy, they're weatherproof. The mud, packed tightly with that secret saliva mix, forms a tough, weather-resistant shell that protects the eggs from rain, wind, and even the blazing sun. Then comes the genius part. The swallows build their nests with precision and purpose. They pick the best spot, gather wet mud with their beaks, and then mix it with saliva to create a sticky paste. This gooey mix gets applied layer by layer and molded into a perfect cup-shaped nest. Since they're perfectionists, They'll add grass and feathers for extra insulation. Once the nest is built, it's a safe haven for the whole family. The parents take turns incubating the eggs, making sure they stay warm and safe. Plus, the nest is engineered for optimal temperature control, keeping the chicks comfy no matter the season. In the end, though, swallows aren't just building a nest and walking away. They're also maintenance masters. If their nest starts to weaken or the weather's rough, they add more mud to reinforce the structure. In the end, swallows may rely on mud and saliva to create their predator-proof homes, but the buyer weaver takes precision to a whole new level. Number 10. Buyer weaver. When it comes to nest building in the Indian subcontinent region, the buyer weaver birds are nothing short of precise. Each nest is meticulously constructed from long strips of grass that the buyer weaver gathers with impressive skill. The construction process itself is a sight to behold. The male weaver uses his beak and feet in flawless choreography, tying intricate knots and loops, all while maintaining a sense of perfect symmetry. It's like watching a skilled artisan at work, weaving each strand with care to create something truly remarkable. No corner is cut, every detail counts. However, that isn't even the most impressive part about their nests. For these birds, there's one big mission to fulfill: defense. The buyer weaver builds with security in mind. You see, the nest features a long, narrow entrance tube that leads into a cozy spherical chamber. This design keeps the eggs safe from predators, which adds a built-in layer of protection. The dedication to safety and comfort doesn't end there. The positioning of the nest is another master stroke of the buyer weaver's ingenuity.
In the beak of a master craftsman, this produces neat and beautiful results.
When it comes to dedication, though, the male buyer weaver is not messing around. In his quest to win over a mate, he often builds multiple nests, each one more impressive than the last. It's the bird version of going above and beyond. He's putting in the hours, the effort, and the expertise to show he's not just any bird, but the one. The process is so intense that sometimes he'll even go so far as to decorate the outside of his nest with flowers or leaves, adding an extra flourish to his already impressive handiwork. Just like the buyer weaver, the southern masked weaver demonstrates impressive precision in its nest building, but with a unique twist. Number 9. Southern masked weaver. This bird is found mostly within the region of Africa, and in the heat of the African sun, it's all about creating the perfect living conditions. Much like its cousin, the buyer weaver, the southern masked weaver weaves its nest with precision. However, this bird adds a twist to the process that truly sets it apart. The real genius of its design lies in the orientation of the nest.
Depends on the safety and sturdiness of these nests.
The southern masked weaver has a natural gift for knowing exactly where to place its nest to maximize natural ventilation. This smart positioning creates a cool, breezy home even in the hottest weather, making the nest feel like a bird's version of air conditioning in the middle of the African wilderness. The materials chosen for these nests are no less impressive. The southern masked weaver carefully selects only the toughest grasses, capable of withstanding the elements and enduring the wear and tear of the changing seasons. These strong grasses form a snug and protective chamber, expertly woven to shield the chicks from both predators and the harsh sun. It's a fortress of comfort, combining both strength and elegance. Now, when the breeding season ends, the southern masked weaver isn't sentimental about its creation. No, these birds take fresh starts seriously. They tear down their nests completely after every season and start anew each year. In fact, these birds are so dedicated to the process of rebuilding that they often rework the site and materials to ensure every nest is in perfect shape for the next season. When it comes to nest building creativity, though, the Vogelkop bowerbird takes things up a notch. Number 8. Vogelkop bowerbird. The Vogelkop bowerbird turns nest building into an extravagant art form. What's even more exciting is the purpose of these nests. You see, for this species of birds, their nests are meant to be actual love letters, written in sticks, flowers, and glass, all designed to woo a mate. It begins with a simple, sturdy frame of twigs. The foundation is nothing fancy, but it's solid, because this bird knows that the structure is just the beginning. Then comes the real magic. The male bowerbird goes on a shopping spree for anything that catches his eye. Vividly colored leaves, flowers bursting with hues, shiny glass pieces, and even bits of metal. These treasures aren't just picked up carelessly. Each item is carefully chosen and meticulously arranged to create a stunning visual display. Of course, the Vogelkopf bowerbird doesn't stop at flashy decorations. The layout of the bower is strategic in itself. The male designs his creation with perfect viewing angles in mind, ensuring that when the female arrives, she gets the full spectacle. Some males even go above and beyond, creating paths lined with decorations leading to the entrance of the bower. Once the female enters, it's not just about admiring the beauty of the bower. The male often performs a ritualistic dance, which adds an interactive element to the whole affair. The Vogelkopf bowerbird certainly pours its heart into crafting the perfect romantic gesture. However, the bald eagle opts for a grander statement. Number 7. Bald eagle nest. If you think a bird's nest can't get any bigger or grander, think again. The bald eagle, the king of the skies, is not only known for soaring high, but also for living large. For these majestic birds, it's all about luxury living, with nests so massive and robust that they could double as small homes. The largest eagle nest in the world, measuring 2.9 meters wide and 6 meters deep, was built by a pair of bald eagles near St. Petersburg, Florida. Oh, and it weighs over 2 tons. Here's how they pull it off. The male and female bald eagles work together like a perfectly synchronized team. They gather twigs, branches, and materials, creating a structure that's not just massive, but sturdy. However, these eagles don't stop there. Each year, they add more to their nest, continuously upgrading it with 1 to 2 feet of fresh material.
A bald eagle is about 3 feet tall, which means it needs a really big nest.
It's like the ultimate home renovation project that never ends. The foundation is made of solid sticks woven together to create an impenetrable base. The interior? A cozy luxury suite lined with soft grass, corn stalks, and other materials to keep their young comfortable and secure. As if that weren't impressive enough, they even add moss to repel insects. And if the old nest doesn't work out, they're not afraid to start fresh. They'll spend 1 to 3 months before mating, ensuring their new nest is ready for action. Number 6. Tailorbird. When it comes to tailorbirds, it's the female tailorbird who has a knack for precision. She carefully selects a broad, strong, and supple leaf that will hold its shape once folded. A flimsy or dead leaf is simply not up to the job. If it's too weak, it won't stand the stitching or the weight of her future chicks. She often goes for a leaf nestled deep within thick foliage, cleverly hidden from sight, and at the end of a branch which keeps predators at bay. Once she's found the perfect leaf, she wraps it around herself to make sure it's just the right size. If it's a bit too small, she adds a couple more leaves for a better fit. From here on out, the real nest-building process begins. With her feet, the tailorbird pulls the edges of the leaf together, then uses her long, slender beak to pierce a series of minuscule holes along the edges. These tiny holes are so delicate that the leaf holds its shape and won't turn brown. Then, the real stitching begins. She threads through plant fibers, cotton, lint, or even silk from cobwebs and caterpillar cocoons. Building this nest is no quick task either. The tailorbird takes its time, often spending days or even weeks perfecting its work. With its feet and beak, it pulls and tugs at fibers, bending leaves into shape until everything fits just right. Each stitch is carefully placed, layer upon layer, creating a sturdy, woven fortress. On top of that, tailorbirds are picky when it comes to materials. They pick the best fibers and sometimes even add feathers for extra warmth. They nest in thick foliage, hidden from predators. After all, a well-constructed home deserves a private, safe spot. It seems the tailorbird's precision takes nesting to a whole new level. However, the African jacana proves that sometimes the best foundation for a home is one that floats. Number 5. African jacana. Why bother building on solid ground when you can float? The African jacana is here to show us how it's done. This bird doesn't just stroll across lily pads, it actually builds its nest right on top of them. Don't think it's all for show though. The jacana's nest is meant to be incredibly stable. Using a mix of aquatic plants, the bird constructs a floating platform that's securely anchored to the plants beneath, creating a safe and steady base for its eggs and the brooding parent. On top of that, the jacana's ability to gauge the strength and stability of its watery surroundings makes sure that its home stays afloat no matter what. These floating nests are the perfect example of turning what seems like an impossible environment into a sanctuary for future generations. However, the jacana's nesting technique is far from simple. The bird is a pro at working with its environment, choosing aquatic plants with strong, flexible stems that can support its nest even as the water shifts. The jacana collects reeds, grasses, and stems, carefully weaving them into a solid base. Unlike some birds that rely on solid ground, the jacana's nest is an intricate balance of nature's materials, designed to stay afloat yet strong enough to withstand the movement of water. The female jacana plays a crucial role in this construction. Once the nest is built, it is usually the female that lays the eggs, while the male takes on the responsibility of incubation and guarding. Both parents work together to protect their floating haven, with the male taking on the task of keeping predators at bay, often using its long toes to push away potential threats. These floating nests are not only ingenious, but also allow the jacana to take advantage of the water's natural camouflage. With their nesting platforms hidden among the reeds and lily pads, they're nearly invisible to predators. It's a clever survival strategy that makes the jacana's home both a refuge and a hidden gem in the watery world. Now, if you thought floating was impressive, wait until you meet the stork, the bird world's answer to the skyscraper builder. Number 4. Stork. Forget the small and hidden. These birds are all about reaching new heights. Trees, rooftops, poles. If it's tall, they'll build their massive nests there.
The Elbe is Germany's last major breeding ground for the white stork.
Every year, these birds return to the same spot, adding more materials and turning their nests into towering monuments of sticks and twigs that can weigh hundreds of kilos. It's like they're constructing the tallest, most impressive real estate in the neighborhood. These nests aren't just homes for the stork family, though. They double as luxury high-rises for all kinds of freeloaders. Sparrows, starlings, and even owls often move in, turning it into a multi-species apartment complex. Everyone gets a room with a view. When it comes to renovations, storks are the upcycling pros too. They don't toss out last year's sticks. They build on top of them, layering fresh twigs, dried grass, and mud to seal gaps and reinforce the structure. Over time, the nest grows bigger and stronger, becoming a birdie skyscraper that can stretch over 6 feet wide and weigh up to 440 pounds. With that kind of weight anchoring the nest, the stork's choice of location is all about safety and comfort. High places give them a perfect view and protection from predators. Whether it's a utility pole, a church steeple, or even a wind turbine, nothing is off limits. As storks are busy building multi-species high-rises, the great crested grebe takes a more fluid approach. Number 3. Great crested grebe. These birds don't rely on dry land. Instead, they turn the water itself into their home, gathering water plants, reeds, and grasses to build their nest right on the surface.
You can actually see where the grebe is swimming to, depending on how deep down the grebe goes.
However, the nest isn't just tossed together. It's carefully woven and anchored to underwater plants like a floating raft secured to the ocean floor. What really sets this nest apart is its ability to adjust to the changing water levels. When the water rises, the nest rises with it, and when the water recedes, so does the nest. It's like the grebe's version of a waterbed that keeps its eggs and chicks dry, even during floods. Eventually, when it's time for eggs, the female grebe lays them in a cozy dip in the middle of the floating nest. Both parents take turns incubating, ensuring the eggs are kept warm and safe from predators. The entire process is quite intriguing. While one grebe plays construction worker, adding fresh materials each day, the other takes on the role of vigilant bodyguard. No rival bird dares step foot in their territory without facing a full-on defense. When it comes to the egg watch, one grebe carries out the duty of taking out materials collected within the nest to gently cover the eggs and retain some warmth. After the grebe's floating masterpiece, the common swift takes nest building to new heights, literally, by turning cliffs and buildings into their very own sky-high havens. Number 2. Common swift. The common swift is known for building their homes on the sides of cliffs, buildings, or even old towers. So how do they keep their nests from plummeting? Well, they've got a secret weapon: saliva. Yep, the common swift uses its super sticky spit as glue to hold everything together. The little bird gathers twigs, feathers, leaves, and even bits of moss, carefully weaving them into a cup-shaped nest. It doesn't stop there, though. The real magic happens when they use their saliva to bind it all into a solid, secure structure. If you think about it, it's like they're using their own custom-made adhesive, and they've perfected it. When it comes to location, the common swift knows exactly what it's doing. Perched high on a cliff or tucked into a building's eaves, their nests are practically untouchable by predators. They love the heights because the nests are so out of reach, making them the ultimate safe zone for young swiftlets. Plus, these birds are incredible aerialists, spending nearly their entire lives on the wing, and they only land when it's time to lay eggs and tend to their young. Here's another cool fact. Common swifts don't really build traditional nests in the way other birds do. They don't carry out the same careful groundwork to make a home. Instead, they're essentially nest architects who get their home set up fast, using the surroundings to their advantage. Once the nest is built, the parents spend most of their time feeding their chicks, who grow up quickly thanks to this high-flying lifestyle. The cherry on top is that common swifts don't just stay put once the chicks are raised. After nesting season, they migrate in huge groups, leaving their homes behind and heading to warmer climates, safely away from predators and the cold. While the swift soars high to safeguard its young, this clever reptile stakes its claim in the treetops, transforming trees into a protective haven. Number 1. Crocodile monitor. The crocodile monitor is a creature of true distinction, most famous for its massive size, deadly claws, and lightning-fast reflexes. However, what many don't realize is that this apex predator also happens to be one of nature's most ingenious architects. Forget everything you know about standard animal nests. Crocodile monitors take nesting to a whole new level, turning the treetops into their personal building sites. Instead of digging in the dirt like many reptiles, crocodile monitors make their nests high, hollowing out tree trunks to create safe, elevated havens for their eggs. It's like a penthouse suite for unborn crocodile monitors, perched above the jungle chaos. However, they don't just pick any random tree and get to work. The female crocodile monitor is incredibly selective, scouting for the perfect tree with the right combination of temperature, humidity, and protection. Now, these elevated nests do more than protect the crocodile monitor's eggs. They transform the environment. The treetop nests create microhabitats that provide shelter to all sorts of creatures in the jungle. The crocodile monitor isn't just an apex predator, it's a savvy survivalist, using its instincts and intelligence to create the safest and most effective environment for its offspring. These elevated, carefully crafted nests prove that when it comes to building the perfect home, this reptile is at the top of its game. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.